What do you want, Scorpion?
If it makes you any happier to call me names, go ahead.
Oscar, you're complete. The most horrible excuse for a human being that ever walked on two legs.
On January 16, 1942, the actress Carole Lombard, famous for her roles in such screwball comedies as My Man Godfrey and To Be or Not to Be, and for her marriage to the actor Clark Gable, is killed when the TWA DC-3 plane she is traveling in crashes en route from Las Vegas to Los Angeles. She was 33. Gable and Lombard met in 1932 during the filming of No Man of Her Own. He was just starting out on his trajectory as one of Hollywood's top leading men, and she was a talented comedic actress trying to prove herself in more serious roles. Both were married at the time, Gable to a wealthy Texas widow 10 years his senior, and Lombard to the actor William Powell, and neither showed much interest in the other. When they met again 3 years later, Lombard had divorced Powell and Gable was separated from his wife, and things proceeded quite differently. Much to the media's delight, the new couple was open with their affection, calling each other May and Pat and exchanging quirky, expensive gifts. In early 1939, Gable's wife finally granted him a divorce, and he married Lombard that April.
And a wedding in the West. Clark Gable and Carole Lombard returned from Kingman, Arizona as Mr. and Mrs. Clark Gable, and even a girl like this thinks he's wonderful. This news means a good many broken hearts all over the world.
In January 1942, following America's entry into World War II, Howard Dietz, the publicity director of the MGM film studio, enlisted Lombard to embark on a war bonds tour in her native state of Indiana. Meanwhile, Gable, appointed as the head of the actors' branch of the Wardham Hollywood Victory Committee, remained in Los Angeles to commence filming Somewhere I'll Find You alongside Lana Turner. Heeding Dietz's advice, Lombard chose to avoid air travel due to concerns about its reliability and safety. Instead, she predominantly undertook the journey by train, making stops at various locations on the way to Indianapolis. Lombard's endeavors proved fruitful as she managed to raise approximately $2 million for the war effort. However, on her return journey, Lombard was unwilling to wait for the train. Instead, she, along with her mother Elizabeth Peters, joined a group that included MGM publicity agent Otto Winkler and 15 young Army pilots and boarded the TWA DC-3 in Las Vegas. Unfortunately, shortly after takeoff, the plane deviated off course. Warning beacons that might have helped guide the pilot had been blacked out because of fears about Japanese bombers, and the plane smashed into a cliff near the top of Potosi Mountain. Search parties were able to retrieve Lombard's body, and she was buried next to her mother at Forest Lawn Cemetery in Glendale, California, under a marker that read Carole Lombard Gable. Hysterical with grief and adrift in the empty house he had shared with Lombard, Gable drank heavily and struggled to complete his work on Somewhere I'll Find You. He was comforted by worried friends, including the actress Joan Crawford. That August, Gable decided to enlist in the U.S. Army Air Forces. He spent most of the war in the United Kingdom and flew several combat missions, including one to Germany, earning several decorations for his efforts. He would remarry twice more, but when he died in 1960, Gable was interred at Forest Lawn next to Lombard.